All right, this is part 5 of embracing and integrating my shadow. So, like I said, despite now understanding the Christ more and understanding that I can have a personal relationship just between the two of us with Him that doesn't require me to perform as a member of any social, political, economic group, I still hadn't dealt with this issue of wanting to be accepted and to belong. Okay. This then leads me. Okay, so I become a born again Christian, I get baptized, whatever. Then I started watching Christian network television. And I'm someone who's very interested in like ancient history and stuff. And I became super interested in Christian eschatology to the point where the first book of the Bible that I read from page to page, like front to end, cover to cover, was the book of Revelation. And I was like, holy smokes, this is so deep, right? So I started watching like Christian broadcast television, right? Christian Broadcasting Network, yes, and TBN as well, Trinity Broadcast Network. And I think there's also Faith and Daystar. Anyway, started watching about eschatology, which is like the study of the end times. That led me down a rabbit hole, which caused me to become a Christian Zionist because I believed that Israel was God's timepiece in terms of, what's going to happen in the end times, right? I did not know that this was Christian Zionist programming. I thought these people were genuinely giving me the truth, right? Eschatology is very deep because there's a lot of symbolism there. And I think at the end of the day, those symbols are very much responding to our own spiritual journey as people. I don't think there's any like cut and dry, cast in stone version of eschatology. And I don't even think that everything has to happen the way it's said. I think that human beings are being called to raise their vibration so that they can avoid cataclysm and have an apocalypse, a revealing, which is actually in line with their desire to live in peace and harmony with each other. That's what I believe, and that's what I seek for humanity and for myself. I want to live in peace and harmony. I want to move out of this system, which is so oppressive to humanity, which is what I believe also creates a culture that causes a young woman like myself, when I was a young woman back then, to seek to fit in to the detriment of my own internal truth. You know, this world that we live in is that type of world, which is so corrosive to a person's sense of self and to a person being their true, authentic self who is happy to pursue their truth, knowing that they are safe to do so. You know what I'm saying? This is why one will start to present a facade that is palatable to people because you're not safe if you don't fit in. You will be derided, you will be ridiculed. It doesn't feel good. There's that whole thing, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never harm me. That's not true. Words are extremely harmful, sometimes even more than sticks and stones. Why? Because we have that stupid saying, first of all, so people think that's true, right? So they'll say something mean to you and then they'll be like, oh, just get over it. It was just a joke. Or when you tell someone else who you hope will give you comfort and safety from such meanness, they'll be like, oh, you shouldn't let people upset you. You know what I'm saying? So you're alone in this pain, right? And so what do you do? Obviously, any intelligent person is going to try and avoid pain. And that was what I was trying to avoid by being this person who fits in and is acceptable to people. So yeah. And now I thought I had hit the jackpot in terms of fitting in and being acceptable because I was a born again Christian and I was a Christian Zionist. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that all imploded in 2022 when Benjamin Netanyahu basically made a deal with the devil to keep himself in political power. And what happened is that he made an alliance with these extremist, right wing, racist, anti Christian, Jewish, Messianic political parties. Okay. And that's when my blinkers came off. I was like, or my blinders came off. I was like, what the hell is this? Okay. So I was working for like a Christian Zionist organization at the time as like a spokesperson. And then, but I already knew that theologically speaking, the Jews and the Christians, we don't actually have common ground. We actually don't. We do not. Because Christ is our center as Christians, right? And now I say as Christians as if I'm actually a Christian. I don't identify as a Christian, but if you are a Christian, and when I was a Christian like that, Christ was our center, right? Christ is still central to my life, but not in that context anymore. So, but for the Jews, he is nothing but a troublemaking person who has just screwed with them and is the reason why they suffer today because of Christianity. Okay, so it's diametrically opposed. There's no togetherness between Christians and Jews, really. So Christian Zionism is purely political, but it dresses itself in religion. And this is what I understood. So I left. And then I became very much interested in redeeming myself for supporting the state of Israel and what they were doing to the Palestinians by, showing my solidarity to the Palestinians. Quickly, though, that became apparent to me that, you know, there's a lot of problems with the Palestinian side in terms of their leadership. The people themselves have my full support and sympathy. And I think this is why I oppose the Palestinian Authority the way that I do, because they are letting their people down. And it's very much the same way that Black leaders across the world are letting Black people down. In Africa, the Black leaders are some of the most elitist people in the world. They don't care about their people. I have a serious problem with that. And so, anyway, where I am now in my journey, is that I speak my truth. I call out inconsistencies. Like I say, I will support the Palestinian people, but I will not support most of their leadership. I support and I love Black people, but I do not support Black leaders. And I call Black people out. I call Black people out because I think we let ourselves down. But I used to be a serious pick me. I was a pick Misha because I wanted to fit in. And if you look at my earlier videos, like my first few videos, if you go to like they're right at the end of the queue of my videos, you'll see that pick Misha who's like pro Western civilization, pro Christianity, pro capitalism. Okay. Anti-communist. I'm still anti-communist because of the collectivization of humanity. I don't believe anyone's a collective. We're all individuals who might decide to come together in groups because of our free will, but we're not born as members of a collective. And I think it's very sick and insidious when people want to present humanity as collectives, because collectives are places where psychos and narcissists hide behind the collective facade. No, no, no. Each person must take responsibility for themselves. Capitalism is highly problematic because it is based on the consciousness of the people practicing it. However, trade and free trade is the best way to distribute goods and services amongst people, but not in the context that we live in now, because now we're living in a parasitic world and the economy serves the parasites. It's like, imagine all the blood in your body had to go towards the cancer tumor in your body. That's how our economy works. It doesn't work the way it should. Okay. And like I say, Western civilization is essentially, if you read the book Black Athena by Martin Bernal, is based on Egypt and Africa and Asia. And then on top of that, there's a place which I think is the remnants of the kingdom of Genghis Khan with a Indian mix and a Middle Eastern and North African and Central African mix. Okay. A lot of which is heritage has been taken over and appropriated to the West and called Western civilization. But it's not, because if it was, the West would still be doing that stuff, and they don't even know that. They don't have the wherewithal to do it. And when they were colonizing, they basically destroyed everyone who knew how to do that stuff. Okay, that's a whole other story. But yeah, that's my story, and thank you for listening. I think I've gone on long enough. Not to discount myself and my story. Okay, I need to also stop doing that. I need to learn how to take compliments. I need to put myself and my worldview at the forefront, and I'm learning that. And I'm grateful to everyone who's been watching my channel and helping me to get to this point, because this channel has really helped me. Because every time I do a video or a series of videos, I have to interrogate myself and see if I was really being as genuine as possible. So thanks for listening and goodbye.